So I don't really remember my slides. I kind of did it really in a rush last night. So I'll just go through it. Hi guys, I'm Danny. I'm one of the lead organizers for this event. And first and foremost, I want to thank all of you for coming. I think what makes the event really great, personally, is it's the content, but the other half is really importantly the people as well that interact with each other. And yeah, so my name is Danny. I'll just go to the next slide. So this will be my opening yapping. I'll be talking a lot about random stuff. Then, right, so this is how I feel right now. I haven't had much sleep. Organizing this event, there was a lot of things going on. And oh man, I really can't remember my slides. So I think I always ask people, like, why are you still in crypto? And I think people mainly give me a few reasons. It's the openness to diverse ideas. It's building the culture towards cool things, as well as it's the vibes. And I think it's really important because personally I feel that, okay, this is the vibes of crypto itself. And yeah, so I want to talk a bit about ETHKL. So ETHKL is a community that was ran since 2018, thanks to people like Harith and a lot of the past contributors of ETHKL who did meetups since 2018. So here's some stats. In total, we've had a total of 171 meetups, case study, workshops, and this year is our second year doing a conference and hackathon. And I think this is really impressive. Like every time I talk to people and I show them that we've done 171 events, they just give me the same face. And yeah, and also like the other point is why am I doing it big this year is I want to show the world that Malaysia has great builders. We have great talents, and I think it is time for us to market ourselves, make them really see Malaysia, like, oh shit, okay, so yeah, so it's really exciting. And me personally, I love Ethereum for what it stands for. I love Ethereum for, so Ethereum is a global system built by strangers. That's the best way I describe it is, I like to think of it as an orchestra, right? In an orchestra, you have an orchestrator. And the thing about decentralization or Ethereum itself is it's this idea where there is no orchestrator, so we just kind of remove that. And also the people in the band, like people playing the music, it can be, Bob Marley, it can be New Jeans, and recently one of my favorite artists is Vitalik. So so just having all these three people together and them performing, and somehow it works. Somehow it slaps. I don't know why, but it just works. And if this looks similar, to all Malaysians, if this looks similar, this is basically Malaysian culture as well. We have very different cultures. We have Indians, Chinese, and Malays. And I've always wondered, like, how do we really like work together in a harmony? Because yeah, somehow it slaps as well. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, Village Park, please sponsor next time. Woo! Yes, nasi lemak. So the theme of this year is building decentralized harmony, and that's what it means. Really, the thing about Ethereum is it's all about interoperability, the community, and also the collaboration, and I love that. And I also just want to personally thank to my team for being a part of this, like organizing it. Okay, I'm missing a few people here actually. I'm sorry to the rest of my team. But also to all the past contributors. I can't fit all their photos because I can't find their photos. And yeah, and also me. Cool. So this year we have a total of over 1,000 registrants, 250 hackers, 600 general admissions, 150 speakers, and part of the crew and organizers that's 80 plus. And yeah, so I just want to thank all the sponsors. Mansa Network, Scroll, WorldCoin, PSE, ICP, Aura, The Graph, CoinGecko, Sentiment, Rare Skills, Alchemix. These are the sponsors who are like, we want a speaking slot and we will pay you, not like certain, okay, I mean, I shouldn't say this maybe. But yeah, and also I just really want to emphasize, thank you so much to Manta Network for being a title sponsor. They were the earliest, they were like, we want to support Malaysia and we just go straight for it. And our prize pool this year is surprisingly, I was aiming for $20,000, but somehow we got $40,000, and that's really exciting for our hackers. And I also want to thank to the bounty providers, Manta Network, Aura, Scroll, WorldCoin, The Graph, and ICP. I forgot PSC as well. And yeah, so yes. Oh, it's my next slide. Yeah, welcome to the best blockchain event for real, for real. Yep. Thank you guys so much. I'll pass it to Skylar. We were sweating inside the lion.
Yeah. That was awesome. That was cool. That was the first time I'd ever seen a lion show in person, let alone been part of one. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, I felt like, I don't know if you've ever seen the meme of like the 3 dragons and then one of them has like the eyes that are crossed like off on the left. Like I think we were that dragon in that, definitely the dragon in that meme. So I'm Skylar. Great to be here. I work with the Devcon team. I lead the Devcon team. I work with the Ethereum Foundation. And I always love visiting Malaysia. I love visiting KL. This country is awesome. This community is maybe second to none. Like the community here is incredibly active, proactive. And so yeah, big props to Danny and to the entire organizing team and the broader community for putting on this awesome event. Yeah, big round of applause for that. Clicker. So today I want to talk a little bit about why Ethereum is special, right? So Danny gave a little bit of a hint to this. Why are we still in crypto? Why is it particularly relevant maybe here in Malaysia? And I want to take a step back and talk a little bit about Ethereum overall, right? Like what are we working on here? What is this thing that we call Ethereum? And I would say like my favorite definition these days is that Ethereum is a new type of computer. It's a new type of computer that enables us to do different things. And it's a new type of computer because it's like not like a physical computer, right? But it's more like a network that acts as a computer. On this computer called Ethereum, you can write programs. These programs execute according to rules. And Ethereum is particularly like a general purpose computer. So it allows you to put pretty much anything on top of any program on top of Ethereum, and it runs according to rules. There's other computers like this, like other blockchains like this, like Bitcoin, which is a single purpose computer. But Ethereum is this general purpose computer, and it's a new type of computer. And I say, like, why is it a new type of computer? It's a new type of computer because of 3 properties. And these 3 properties, like, I summarize them as this. Other people say them a little differently. But I would say these 3 properties are basically that this type of computer is open and globally accessible. It's verifiable. And it has this property of hardness. And so what are these definitions? So open and globally accessible. This basically means that with this type of computer, with Ethereum, anyone with an internet access around the world should be able to access this. This means that the network, the computer, should be credibly neutral. It should be neutral. It should not favor one specific region like the United States or China or Latin America or some particular region around the world. It should be credibly neutral for everyone around the world, and it should be censorship resistant, right? There should not be censoring happening on the network. Once you start censoring, well, I think really the first problem is that good and bad are often subjective. Once you try to start censoring things, you start to lose neutrality. And once you lose neutrality, you lose global participation. You lose this computer that is equally and neutrally accessible to everyone around the world. And so this is the first property of Ethereum that I think is extremely important and intrinsic in the values that we embrace. The fact that it's open and globally accessible to all. The second property of Ethereum that makes it unique is that it is verifiable, right? So anyone around the world should be able to verify, should be able to audit that what is happening on Ethereum, what is happening on this computer is correct, that it is following certain rules that we all agree are the correct rules. And this is an important part of Ethereum. The fact that anyone around the world should be able to verify what is happening on Ethereum. Anyone should be able to run a full node, right? The average person should be able to run a full node. This means making sure that it's available on average hardware and average bandwidth around the world, which is something that actually a lot of other blockchain projects specifically sacrifice, right? They require supernodes to be able to verify what's happening on their network, in which case you end up depending on some centralized entity that can and maybe will in the future censor or lie to you about the state of the blockchain. And so Ethereum is unique in this new type of computer because we want average people around the world to be able to verify what is happening on this computer. And the third property is hardness. And this is a property that, this was a property first introduced by a friend of mine named Josh Stark, and he basically describes this property as a strong commitment about its future. So it's not just saying that Ethereum today has this property of verifiability, that average people can verify what's going on. It's not just saying that today Ethereum is censorship resistant and neutral. It's saying that far into the future, we can rely, we can trust, we can be confident that Ethereum will remain censorship resistant, that it will remain neutral, it will remain open to all around the world. And that this commitment will continue far into the future is this property of hardness. And I would say this is maybe this distinctive value. This was what is in Josh Stark's terms. He would say this is the distinctive value of blockchains, is that they can be reliable. They can be reliable far into the future. You can trust that they will continue to be open, neutral, censorship resistant. And this is maybe the most, the rarest property. Not just within blockchains, but within anything, right? So does AWS have hardness? No, right? AWS can decide from one day to the next to censor you or to not give access to a certain region. Does a government's system have a property of hardness? No, it can be fairly changed at a government's will. And do other blockchains have this property of hardness? I'd say largely no, because a lot of this depends on decentralization of the community, of the participants verifying the state of the blockchain, and this is not very common. So I would say this is probably one of the most important properties of blockchains, the fact that they have strong commitments, that they will remain open and neutral and censorship resistant far into the future. And it's one that's not very common among other projects. And so these three properties together are what enable Ethereum to really become this new type of computer, this type of computer that we've never had before. And with this new type of computer, you can build things that you were never able to build before. What are these types of things? So these types of things are things like global digital financial infrastructure, things that are like financial infrastructure that's not specific for one region. It's globally accessible. Anyone can participate. You can build things like social media without censorship or without bias towards one specific country or region. You can build a digital property rights system for all, one that is censorship resistant, one that doesn't depend on one specific government. You can experiment with new mechanism designs. You can build a system of digital identity in which you own your identity. You can build trustworthy money, whether that be Ether or Bitcoin or whatever. You can build money that doesn't depend on central institutions. You can build platforms for coordination, whether that be DAOs or new ways to raise money for DeSci projects or things like that. And you can build things like on-chain games, like autonomous worlds, or like simulations that continue far into the future that depend on no central actor or no central game developer after they're launched. These are the types of applications that are now possible, and more, that were never possible before, thanks to this new type of computer. And all this to say that Ethereum is different, because it is this new type of computer, and these new types of computers are rare, because those previous properties we covered are rare, and its potential is still underestimated. And I would say, why is its potential underestimated? I would say largely because it's kind of hard to understand what a blockchain gives you, right? So this is another quote from Josh. He says, other technologies are much easier to demonstrate because their distinctive qualities appear quickly. In 1992, to prove that email works, all you had to do was try it once. The proof was on the other side of the world, received, and then instantly responded to your message, was right there in your inbox. And I would say also the same is true with AI today, right? AI is obvious. Obviously, AI is really cool. Once you go into ChatGPT once, you type in a question, and you get an immediate response. These things are very clear. But when you with the value with blockchains is that they can be reliable, that they have this property of hardness far into the future. And this is something that takes time for people to realize, that is not instantaneous, and I think probably, which is why Ethereum will have its greatest impact in 10 plus years, right? It will take a long time for people to realize the value that these blockchains have, And it's because part of the value of these blockchains is that they remain neutral, that they remain open, they remain censorship resistant, not just in this instant, but over a long period of time. And all that to say, there's still a lot of time to contribute to this impact. And so how can you get involved? I'd say, for one, attend events. So, right, ETHKL, you're here, you're doing already the first thing. You're getting to meet the community. This is where other people who are interested in this technology and this movement come together. ETHKL does a bunch of meetups. They're one of the most organized Ethereum communities around the world. So you all are fortunate to be here in Malaysia, in KL, and have access to this amazingly organized group of people. You could attend Devcon, which we'll get to later. You can read maybe Vitalik's posts on his blog, which are really interesting and make you think a lot. You can contribute. So there's a lot of volunteers here. I think a very impressive amount of volunteers here, and volunteers are super important. You can contribute eventually in the form of EIPs, but maybe more realistically, you can build. There's a lot of developers here. There's a hackathon taking place right now, and you can build real-world applications today, right? We have the scalability, the cheap transactions thanks to layer 2s, which you'll hear about later today. We have user experience improvements with account abstraction. So now, real-world average users can use things that you want to build today, and this is probably the first time, maybe this is the first year in like the last 10 years that this is realistically true. And so now it's a good opportunity for people here to build real things that touch real people's lives. And lastly, you can attend Devcon. So I'll give you a quick Devcon chill. I am the Devcon lead, so I am biased, but I think if there's one conference that you're going to attend that's related to crypto besides ETHKL, you should probably try to make your way to Devcon. Devcon is the Ethereum developers conference, but no longer specifically for developers. It's for anyone who's interested in the future of technology, the frontier of computing, and the future of society, and how Ethereum and crypto can play a role in all of this. And Devcon is now basically in your backyard for the first time ever, and probably for the last time for a little while. So maybe now is a good opportunity to take advantage of it. It will be in Bangkok in November from the 12th to 15th. So in about a little over a month. And we're expecting roughly 10,000 attendees, the biggest Devcon yet. There will be actually over 500 speakers of some of the brightest minds working on this space within Ethereum. And beforehand, if you want to go a little early, there will be a bunch of stuff taking place in Chiang Mai for an entire month. It will be basically an Ethereum city where there will be hundreds of people there living, co-living, and discussing the future of Ethereum and having real-world impact. So if you want to participate in one of these are good options as well. As folks from Southeast Asia and from Malaysia specifically, you all qualify for discount tickets to Devcon. Typically, they're $599, but because you're from Malaysia, they are only $49. And this code gets you an access. There's like 30 tickets on here for $49. If you don't have your ticket already, you could scan that. If you want to apply online, you can also still get cheap tickets. And I think the flights are relatively cheap to get there as well. So that's all I have. Thank you, KL. Thank you, ETHKL. Thank you to the organizers of the event. Thank you, Lion Team. And I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you, Skylar from Devcon. And thank you earlier, Danny from ETHKL as well.